Match week 23 lands in the space city of Houston, Texas. Two teams in opposite directions right now in the Western Conference table lock up. Houston Dynamo Dos look to get back to their winning ways. They welcome Real Monarchs seeking to snap a three-match winless skid. Welcome inside SaberCat Stadium, home with our broadcast team, Jake Griffith. A pleasure to have you alongside us. Houston Dynamo, they were back to their winning ways in the month of July. A three-match win streak took 11 points, and they earned Team of the Month honors. They're just 4 points out of first place in the Western Conference, with 2 games in hand on conference leaders, Austin FC. As for Real Monarchs, they are narrowly out of a playoff spot, but just one win since mid-June. A win today would vault them into a tie with Minnesota United in San Jose. 29 points for that would-be final playoff spot in the West. A chance to look at how these sides line up. First, for Houston Dynamo Dos and manager Jeremy Hurdle, they go in a 4-2-3-1 shape. They make 3 personnel changes across this 11 from their match week 22 loss against Sporting Kansas City 2. This is a Monarchs team that they're going against that really like to control the middle third of the field. So creating overloads in the midfield will be crucial for Jeremy Hurdle's bunch, and that is one of the benefits of this 4-2-3-1 shape. You get that numerical advantage when you're going at times against a two-man central midfield. In the setup here, you'll have Reese Miller, you'll have Marchines, Souza, Di Morelli, all those 5 there, creating a lot of congestion, that advantage that they're looking for to try to then quickly transition into the attacking half of the pitch and get their offense going, one that has scored 42 goals in 2026. On the flip side of things, this Real Monarchs side, they come out in a 4-4-2. They also make 3 personnel changes from their 3-0 loss last match week against St. Louis City 2. The key today is going to be using the 2 strikers when they are in their attacking shape, which will look like at times a 4-4-1-1, sometimes a 4-4-2. But using those twin strikers up front to go at the center backs of Houston Dynamo Dos will be so crucial. It's a Dynamo Dos side that they have some health issues along the back. They've got players like a Noah Betancourt, who's a left back by trade, having to play center back today just because of the lack of depth they have there. So that'll be crucial for Monarchs to be able to attack those center backs, pull them out of position, and help create offensively for this attack that was a little lethargic last match week, held to just 2 shots on target, 8 overall shots, and kept out of goal in that 3-0 loss. Excuse me, all set to go here inside SaberCat Stadium. Houston Dynamo Dos, Real Monarchs' second meeting of 2026. A 1-0 win all the way back in April. Caught up with Jeremy Hurdle earlier in the week, and he said that you look back on that, yes, both teams in vastly different positions than where they are now, but it was such an open and fluid game. This Dynamo Dos coaching staff ran the numbers, and they said it was the highest XG game they've had so far this year. And that's not just their expected goals, but also expected goals allowed to Real Monarchs. Hard to believe it was only a 1-0 final scoreline. You go back and watch some of the highlights of that contest. Both teams just up and down the pitch. So expect a real fluid, open-ended, up-tempo style of game today. They've had some high-scoring affairs in this series history. One that this will be the 9th all-time meeting between Dynamo Dos and the Claret and Cobalt. Go back to 2023, an 8 combined goal affair that swung in the favor 5-3 of Houston Dynamo Dos. A 4-1 win back in the inaugural MLS Next Pro season here at their home stadium. A 3-0 win as well. The most recent time that Real Monarchs have come on the road, a 4-0 result back in August of 2025, and that represents the only win that the Claret and Cobalt have in this all-time series. That's been controlled by Dynamo Dos. 6-1-1. They've won 4 of the last 6, taken points in 5 of the last 6 matchups, including that aforementioned April 19th victory, the 1-0 win away in the Beehive State of Utah. Houston Dynamo Dos, they've been strong at home this year, unbeaten in 9 straight, going all the way back to their penultimate home fixture of 2025. One of two MLS Next Pro teams so far in 2026 with no home losses. Jose Lara is our center referee. Fourth official, Jordan Gray. There at the bottom of your screen. It's Dynamo Dos in the orange. Real Monarchs in the white tops with the navy shorts. There is the opening whistle, and the ball is officially rolling. That means we are underway here in this match week 23 clash in the Western Conference. Real Monarchs and Houston Dynamo Dos, the reigning MLS Next Pro Team of the Month. It was announced just yesterday, as that's thumped all the way back down. Second time this year that Houston Dynamo Dos have been named the Team of the Month in MLS Next Pro. First time came all the way back in April. Jeremy Hurdle, their first-year manager, who earlier this season was appointed on a permanent basis, was appointed interim manager at the start of the season, had that interim tag taken off after Marcelo Santos was promoted to first-team assistant under first-team manager Ben Olsen in the offseason. But Hurdle, he said that you get honors like that, Team of the Month, it's really exciting as it's cut back over to Logan Erb getting his 7th start of the season in net. But the big focus for this young bunch is to try to stay humble and focused on the task at hand. They do try to celebrate these honors, though, at this club, so that you never know when your next win might come. They'll work it ahead now, looking for that combination out wide. The cutback deflected away, and out it goes for a corner to Houston Dynamo Dos, first of the day. Matteo Di Morelli gets things set up and will hand the honors off to D'Alessandro Herrera, product of Houston Christian University. Two-time Ohio Valley Conference midfielder of the year. Herrera, out-swinging ball, attacking that with the header was Dylan Kropp, the former UNC and Xavier man collegiately. Back to the well goes Dynamo Dos. That goes ricocheting off the side netting and out of play and gives way to a Trace Alfin goal clearance. Monarch side entering on the heels of a 3-0 loss away from home against St. Louis City 2 last match week. Kept it scoreless at the half, but then conceded goals in the 51st, 64th, and 86th minutes. At 48% possession in that contest, which is well below their season average of 53. First half, they did have some good looks at goal, but just could not put it on the target, and that's been a theme for Mark Lowry's bunch. We caught up a few weeks ago, he said, reflecting on some of the recent results, they just have struggled to take their chances this season. Vinicius Silva plays it out wide. Now Miller goes low with it. Samir Muhammad, team leader in minutes played, over 1,300, working on that left flank. Muhammad trying to dish that one off. It's deflected out of play, and Houston Dynamo Dos will earn themselves yet another corner, second of this opening half. Despite being on the wrong side of the 3-2 scoreline against Sporting Kansas City 2 last week, this Dynamo Dos side, they did start fast, went up a goal in the 19th minute. Di Morelli flings this one in the thick of it, headed down, traffic in front, and hacked clear by Real Monarchs. Dynamo Dos almost grabbing their 4th corner goal of 2026. They're a top 8 team in set-piece goals scored this season. A lot of traffic there in front of Alfin. The Monarchs able to clear that ball away. Here's Matthew Arana getting the start in that double pivot next to the captain, Gustavo Doman. Arana, the homegrown youngest in club history, making his 12th start of MLS Next Pro action, was on the bench last match week in the win against Sporting Kansas City. Leading the charge ahead was Souza, toppled from behind. We get a whistle, and it will be a straight red card shown.
Your attention, please, fifth man.
A good 1-2 in behind, trying to find Artur Souza. Dylan Kropp going to ground. And immediately, Jose Lara showing straight red to 64 in white and navy. An unreal turn of events less than 5 minutes in. Momentum heavily swung in the favor of Houston Dynamo Dos. It will be a free kick despite Souza going tumbling down and ultimately coming to rest inside the penalty area. The foul did occur just at that top of the 18-yard box. And for Houston Dynamo Dos, who twice in the last 3 matches coming in have been on the wrong side of red cards handed out, gone down a man 2 times in the last 3 fixtures. A welcome relief for Jeremy Hurdle's bunch it is to see a red go the opposite direction. Herrera and Mohamed shadow over this ball. It'll be Herrera to take, parried away by Alfin and out of play. It does concede the corner. A well-hit ball here from 17 in orange. D'Alessandro Herrera, who had a real knack for scoring goals just like that during his college career. 17 goals he scored at the NCAA Division I level. So it's Dylan Kropp, the 25th pick in the most recent Super Draft, going off less than 5 in due to the straight red. In-swinging ball off that corner, 3rd of the match for Dynamo Dos, and dealt with ease by the Claret and Cobalt. Second ball, punched away. Mohamed trying to keep the pressure on. Owen Anderson got to it. And that ball will roll out again, and Trace Alfin will square things away. Mark Lowry had said that one of the things that he'd hoped to see from his team, biggest area of growth down the stretch of the season, is they have to stop making little mistakes. They have to stop putting themselves behind the 8 ball early in contests. They have to start finding ways to grind out victories. They might feel a little hard done by a straight red shown by our center referee, but nonetheless, they find themselves squarely behind that 8 ball early on in this contest. They'll slide it forward now, finding Chris Rios, RSL Academy man, and now we get another whistle as Herrera taken down. Well, it said at the start of this broadcast before kickoff that this was going to be an action-packed, end-to-end type of contest. We've already seen a lot of action crammed into less than 10 minutes. 3 corners for Houston Dynamo Dos. They have 2 shots on target, both stopped by Trace Alfin in goal for the Claret and Cobalt. Now Monarchs working again, rather Dynamo Dos working again on that right-hand side. Tucked over, Arana deflected away, scooped up by Vinicius Silva. There's Loco Moise, he'll turn it forward. Trying to break out now. Up ahead, Lionel DeGero. DeGero on the right, wanting to step back inside, shuffles wide, lifts it back, stick, headed over the bar and out.
Your attention, please, at the 9th minute.
A great way to tilt the field for Monarchs. They've been pinned back essentially from the opening kick. Just 14% possession, but Lionel DeGero using the wheels on the right side. And a brilliant service just put over the crossbar.
Coming into the field, number 77, Ruben.
Monarchs electing to use an early substitution just after delivering that ball. Lionel DeGero subbed off in favor of Ruben Masalas. A quick hook for the 21-year-old who was brought back into this club on loan at the beginning of the year from the United Arab Emirates. Was acquired originally back in 2023, made one appearance, was injured, missed time in 2024 and 2025 as well due to injury. Turnover. The counter is on here for Dynamo Dos. Trying to navigate their way through. Doman had support to his right, knocked away by the defense of Real Monarchs, who transition into the attack. Moisa, head of steam, stops, felt the pressure applied there from Arana, and will slow the tempo up for Monarchs. This Monarch side, they are very much so committed to the style they play. They love to build from the back. They especially favor those low build-outs. They really want to try to draw teams in with those short builds, short, quick passing in hopes of pulling you out of position and then hitting you over the top and getting in transition. They did it to some success last match week in the opening half against St. Louis. The second half swung heavily in favor of the home side in that contest, but it was something that Jeremy Hurdle picked out in our conversation about things to watch for his team, what his message to the squad was during midweek training, of areas that they felt like Monarchs would try to exploit. Discipline is a big theme today in terms of the out-of-possession shape for this Houston Dynamo Dos side. Clipped in behind by Samir Mohammed. Trying to cycle it back over to him, and that pass just not online. Change of possession will occur via the throw-in. There's the aforementioned Mark Lowry looking on there at the bottom of your screen as Chris Rios tosses it back into play. Lowry, the 6th permanent manager in club history. Under duress are the Claret and Cobalt. Have to get rid of it quickly. Press bears fruit initially for Dynamo Dos. One back by Loka Moisa, tight along that near touchline. Doman able to cut that ball out. Souza on it. Cycled around. Now lining this one up was Di Morelli. Deflected. Falls over to Herrera. Looking for the angle. Herrera misses wide. Would have been some hit if he could have pulled this one off. Just had an inch of space. Tightly defended there by Luis Rivera, the 17-year-old, and still was able to get that shot off. We stay scoreless, though, almost 15 minutes in. Reese Miller comes up with the interception. Arana. Now Betancourt will step up, the former Houston Dynamo Academy product. Dynamo Dos side, they come in off the aforementioned loss last match week on the road against Sporting Kansas City 2. Jeremy Hurdle said that he felt like they played better with 10 men than they played when they were at even strength, 11 v 11 in that contest. Described it as going down to 10. The shackles kind of came off a little bit for the team. That was despite being up a goal in the 19th minute. As that ball floated in behind, but rolling across the end line for another Trace Alfin goal kick. He felt like, though, Jeremy Hurdle, that Dynamo Dos did not start that contest very well, despite rewarding themselves with a goal less than 20 minutes in. Thought they were a little out of sync, didn't like their rhythm. Safe to say they've started a lot better in this contest compared to last match week. Here's the Brazilian Doman, gave it up. Now cycled over Samir Mohammed. Doman, the captain, reverses it back wide over on the right. Herrera. Dynamo Dos, they've really favored that right-hand flank so far. This one flicked in near post, headed down and in! A brilliant ball and a better finish. Reese Miller and Houston Dynamo Dos have takeoff 1-0. This service is excellent. All alone on that near post was Reese Miller. Late on the recovery was Chris Rios, and the former Virginia Cavalier surging Dynamo Dos into an early lead. The sixth goal involvement of the former UVA rookie, product of the Houston Dynamo Academy. He's been a consistent fixture in this team. 14th appearance, now 10th start, and his 4th goal of 2026. Jeremy Hurdle, he had challenged his team to start fast, start better than they did against SKC. They've done that. Now this ball booming in behind. Running it down are the Monarchs. Alex Ewald had it for a moment. Anderson trying to keep the possession on. And that is unsuccessful for the Claret and Cobalt. Here's DiMorelli advancing this. 21st homegrown signing in club history is Matteo DiMorelli. Swung over, Silva. They'll reverse it back to him, the 20-year-old Vinicius Silva out of Brazil, acquired via a loan at the start of the season. Trying to shuffle to that end line was Martins, unable to do so. Doman funnels it back forward, dancing through defenders was DiMorelli, ultimately dispossessed. And that is where Betancourt will track that one down, making his 42nd career appearance in MLS Next Pro play. DiMorelli boots this toward goal, has a hit and it's in! A spectacular finish for Matteo DiMorelli and Houston Dynamo Dos at the double. Why not have a hit from there? The third, make it 4th goal of the season for DiMorelli, and none more impressive. It's all coming up Houston in the opening 20 minutes. To say this Dynamo Dos side, they took the words from their manager and they have applied them to this contest. Goals 3 minutes apart, first from Reese Miller, now Matteo DiMorelli. They have the man advantage. That came 5 minutes in due to the straight red shown to Real Monarchs. Well, they have the lead and then some here at home. Meanwhile, here's Loco Moisa. Former MLS Next All-Star, 34 for the Claret and Cobalt. And he has it at his feet now. That came back in 2024, that MLS Next All-Star selection. MLS Next All-Star game in Charlotte here in 2026 in the rear view. Both of these clubs, 2 selections to the All-Star game out in Charlotte for the Western Conference. Rios leading the charge. They hand it off over to Anderson on the right. His service floated, back stick, headed down. There is a whistle, though. It was Awalt committing the foul. Dynamo Dos wasting no time getting forward with it. Here's DiMorelli. Scored a worldie minutes ago. Muhammad. Samir Muhammad has that ball on a string right now. Tucks it back over. Martins gives it up. DiMorelli, who has it at his feet once more. Doman now. Betancourt connecting with Muhammad once again. Now Muhammad will step forward with it, looking for the give and go. Back to Samir Muhammad, touch toward goal. Find its way into that 18, but cleared away by Real Monarchs. Anderson hounded into a turnover, pouncing on it is Souza. Distance deflected. It'll roll out of play and stay on this end. Fourth corner of the opening half coming for Dynamo Dos. With Portland Timbers playing to a draw against LAFC, they picked up the extra point in the shootout. Houston Dynamo Dos, best they could do is move into a two-way tie for second with a win today. They'll swing this one out. The heads go up. Falls all the way through. And it's picked up by Matthew Arana. Muhammad funnels it back down low. Martins knocked out of play off the boots of Locomoisa, and it will be a throw for Dynamo Dos. DiMorelli with it, one of 2 goal scorers in this opening half. Reese Miller in the 16th minute, DiMorelli in the 19th. It has been real one-way traffic since the opening whistle, compounded by the fact that Monarchs are playing down a man. Dylan Kropp sent off on a straight red earlier. Muhammad takes a tumble, lost the handle on that ball. Masalis pressured, wants to give it up out wide and does. And now some space to breathe if you're Real Monarchs. Awalt trying to take on 2 defenders. Got past the first one, couldn't beat the second one. And Alan Martins, the 20-year-old Brazilian. Anderson, though, picks it up. Top of the area. Tried to step inside on that final defender and is dispossessed. Doman will clear it. And Real Monarchs will have a throw-in over on that far touchline. Just one win for this Monarch side going back to June 21st. Over the last handful of matches, that came against Vancouver Whitecaps. Did pick up a draw on the road against LAFC now 6 matches ago, but it's losses against Tacoma, at Portland, at St. Louis City 2. The 3 recent fixtures for this Monarch side. Doman, his backheel pass intercepted. Izzy Amparo coming up with that interception. You talk to Mark Lowry, watching on there on the left side of your screen, and some of the recent results are just essentially out of the control of this team due to injury woes that they've suffered. Haven't had the services of players like a Van Parker, who really came on strong before suffering injury. They've also been without guys like a Jesus Barea and Lineker Rodriguez dos Santos for majority of the season. Barea only 5 MLS Next Pro appearances this year, has 4 goals and 1 assist. Lineker Rodriguez dos Santos has played a little bit more, over 1,000 minutes, but has been with the first team the last few weeks. 7 goal contributions for Lineker Rodriguez dos Santos, the number 29th overall pick in the Super Draft out of Marshall. Locomoisa, he goes down. We get a whistle from Jose Lara, and that will bring things to a stoppage here in Houston, Texas. Locomoisa, the player, down, helped back to his feet by our center referee. The Las Vegas native, a homegrown signing for this Real Salt Lake organization. Play is back underway. Going back to the Monarchs, though, because of so many injuries and just players not available, it has forced Mark Lowry and his staff to, at times, throw together extremely young lineups. And Lowry, he acknowledged that anytime you play a lot of youngsters out of the academy, you're going to have those growing pains. You just have to learn to deal with them. Development is one of the things that is so important to this organization. Clipped along and behind. Masalis trying to find Awalt on the other side. Awalt cuts it back into play. It's top of the area, but pounced on by Houston Dynamo Dos as Arana comes up with it, and Muhammad will settle things down. Speaking of playing young players, it's something that Houston Dynamo Dos, no stranger to. The 5th youngest team in MLS Next Pro this season by average roster age. And they've also fielded the 7th youngest average starting 11 age in MLS Next Pro this season. Despite a lot of that youth, they find themselves in contention for a top 4 playoff spot should the postseason begin today. This result would hold. It would move them 7 clear of Ventura County, who is in 4th place in the Western Conference table. Alluded to it at the top of the broadcast. They do have 2 games in hand against Austin FC 2, who they recently played to a 1-1 draw. It is not out of the question that if this Houston Dynamo Dos side strings together positive results on the back end of the season like they've done throughout large stretches of 2026, they can find themselves in contention for that number 1 spot come season's end in the Western Conference. We get another whistle for a foul. Bit of an awkward collision sent the Monarchs man down, that being Felix Awalt.
People last up 3 minutes.
With that foul bringing us to a stoppage in play, Jose Lara will use this opportunity to send both teams to their respective technical areas. A hydration break is in effect here in Houston, Texas. Bit of a warm one at SaberCats Stadium. Temperatures hovering at 88 degrees right around kickoff. Full sun through large stretches of today. Did have some severe weather move into the area just before kickoff that delayed this contest. But even still, that cloud cover hasn't provided a respite for the Heat here in Houston. It's not just the weather that's been hot, it's been Houston Dynamo Dos who have been hot to start this contest. They went up a man in the 5th minute, courtesy of a straight red shown to Real Monarchs. And Dynamo Dos wasting no time capitalizing on that man advantage. Reese Miller finding goal in the 16th minute. 3 minutes later, Matteo Di Morelli The U.S. Youth National teamer finding a second goal for Houston Dynamo Dos in the 19th minute. And that is where we stand right now. Coming up on that half-hour mark elapsed. And with this break in play, a chance to look at upcoming schedule around MLS Next Pro, one that is sure to be busy on the back end of the season. We'll have some fixtures tomorrow, Sunday, August 9th, including in the Western Conference. Austin FC 2, Verdos, the Western Conference leaders, trying to extend their lead over everyone else on the table. They get a Sporting Kansas City 2 side who starting to turn the corner just a little bit. SKC2 I had a chance to catch up with Lee Tashantret earlier in the week to talk to his team, who've won back-to-back matches, first against Minnesota United and then against Houston Dynamo Dos. And he says, hey, look, we're right now at 19 points. The final team in the Western Conference playoff race that is San Jose Earthquakes too. They're at 29 points. It's not out of the question that if we can stay focused on the task at hand, get a couple positive results, we can now be in the playoff conversation. Should be an exciting fixture in the Western Conference tomorrow. Just 2 matches on our Match Week 23 Sunday slate. Ventura County, one of the teams idle this week in Match Week 23. They will see this Houston Dynamo Dos side next Friday. Meanwhile, Houston Dynamo and Real Monarchs all set to resume following the hydration break. And we are back underway as Izzy Amparo will touch things up. 4th season with this Real Monarchs side for Amparo, the 19-year-old from Arizona. Here's that low build I was alluding to earlier for this Monarch side, trying to start so low in their build-out in hopes of pulling teams in, drawing them in, almost lulling you into a false sense of security. It's going to be a challenge to use that effectively today against this Houston Dynamo Dos side, who are one of, if not the most aggressive and effective pressing teams in MLS Next Pro. Ball behind Amparo, he goes down. The counter on once more for Dynamo Dos. However, the offside flag will come up and erase that opportunity for the home side. Driven forward, that is where Houston Dynamo will pick things up. Here's Betancourt with it. Doman rolls it over. Silva trying to play it in behind. Reese Miller not in a position to receive that. That is where Trace Alfin will walk out and grab things. Mentioned earlier in this broadcast some of the player availability struggles that this Monarchs team have had. Omar Marquez got the start last match week against St. Louis City 2. And for his efforts was rewarded with a spot on the bench in Leagues Cup Phase 1 for RSL and manager Pablo Mastroeni on the bench against Tigres alongside Lineker Rodriguez dos Santos and former Monarchs man Aiden Hezarkhani. That ball tossed back into play. Marquez did not see any time. Hezarkhani, the only player of that trifecta I mentioned to see minutes, played 3 minutes as a second half substitute. Trying to find Samir Muhammad again. There's another whistle, and it will be Muhammad shown that whistle. Samir Muhammad slow to get back to his feet, and now Liam O'Gara will go down, grabbing at his left leg. Mark Lowry demanding an explanation from Jose Lara, our center referee. Meanwhile, Samir Muhammad is back to his feet. You saw just before that whistle, though, the sort of passing combination that this Houston Dynamo Dos team trying to get going. Those third man movements are something that Jeremy Hurdle really focused on in our conversation as potentially one of those areas that if Dynamo Dos can continue to unlock that, the evolution of this team, we could see some real growth over these final 7-8 matches of the season and become even more of a force to be reckoned with. It was a focus in terms of a key to victory today of this coaching staff against this Monarchs side as that long ball out wide goes across the end line, and Logan Erb will have a goal clearance. You might hear that phrase, third man movement, and ask, what does that mean? Essentially, that is passing combinations created between three players. It essentially sets you up with almost a triangle type shape when you look at a passing map. And that's what they want to try to get going, especially when getting into that midfield today. Silva. Samir Muhammad wrestled down again, and that time it will be a whistle shown to Liam O'Gara. Those two last few minutes have really been battling with each other. 39 in orange and white, Samir Muhammad was a player that Jeremy Hurdle talked about during our conversation earlier this week, and he said it's easy to forget. You look at the way he's played. He was a guy who just arrived to this club at the start of last year. More on him in a moment. Clipped in behind here for Dynamo Dos. Well defended by Monarchs. Having some issues breaking out, though, at the moment. Awalt dispossessed. Counter quickly developing here for Doman, who lifts that behind the net. Did take a deflection on its way through, so it will stay here for another corner to Houston Dynamo Dos. 3 times this season, Dynamo Dos have scored off set pieces, specifically their corners, 3 times this year. It'll be tough sledding today against a Monarch side who've conceded the second fewest set piece goals in MLS Next Pro. Di Morelli hangs this high, swings this in. Awalt catches it with the head for Monarchs, nodded away, and it falls into the path of Matthew Arana. Miller to Doman. Quickly to Muhammad. Muhammad cuts to his right. Defensively, Monarchs holding their shape very well right now. Not a lot of space to progress here if you're Dynamo Dos. Di Morelli from distance. Already seen him hit that once today, but over hits that. Eighth start in as many appearances in 2026, including today for Trace Alphen, spelling Max Kirkvliet. Alphen, the 59th overall pick out of Wake Forest in the 2025 Super Draft. Played the second most minutes of any goalkeeper in school history down at Wake Forest in the ACC. O'Gara, a little miscommunication between he and Alphen. Almost got caught in no man's land, and we get a whistle. A card will come out of the pocket of our center referee, Jose Lara. Yellow shown to Matteo Di Morelli, who ran smack dab into Trace Alphen.
Your attention, please, at the 40th minute. Yellow card caution has been issued to Houston Dynamo Dos player number 33, Matteo Di Morelli.
Just the second card that's come out of the pocket of Jose Lara today. The first yellow We inch closer toward that halftime whistle. Just about 5 minutes to go, plus added time. Alphen floats that ball ahead at the restart. Now we get another stoppage here. Monarchs still looking for their first shot on target of this match. Just 39% possession right now. You knew offensive options were going to be limited the moment they went down a man, especially how early that occurred. Advantage played here for Dynamo Dos. Martins tried to give it up to DiMorelli. Was able to corral that ball in. Now cycled over. Silva from distance turned away off the blocked shot. Pieces picked up though here by Dynamo Dos. Arana negotiating around for space. Silva, Muhammad. Whistled down. And now breaking out here are the Claret and Cobalt. Oh, and Anderson finding some space to move. Knocked out of play. And Monarchs will have the throw. Rather, it will be a Dynamo Dos throw. I'll say Lara correcting himself at the last moment. And Reese Miller will toss it back in. Miller acquired in December of 2025, a homegrown signing after spending 4 years in the Atlantic Coast Conference with the University of Virginia. But prior to that, spent time in the Houston Dynamo Academy. Actually made 9 appearances for Dynamo Dos back in the 2022 MLS Next Pro season before going off to college. One of 2 goal scorers, 27 in orange and white, is today. The other, that man right there, 33, Matteo DiMorelli. Since that goal in the 19th minute, though, from DiMorelli, things have calmed down just a touch in this contest. Been a bit more even despite what the scoreline shows. Nifty moves there from Silva to get past one defender. Trying to find Reese Miller free on that left side. Muhammad wins it back. Miller comes up with it. His ball, top of the area, knocked away initially by the Claret and Cobalt, but kept on. And Betancourt will funnel it forward. Herrera now floats it in behind. Alphen will just corral that one in. Elsewhere around the Western Conference, in action 15 minutes deep right now. Minnesota United, San Jose Earthquakes up in the Twin Cities of Minnesota. Right now 0-0. Less than 20 minutes into that contest. Lots of playoff implications written on that one. Those 2 teams tied points-wise for what would be the final playoff spot. Martins lost his footing. DiMorelli was there to bail him out, though. Betancourt again. He'll rifle this one over to the left flank. Miller, the switch. Trying to find Martins running onto it. Instead, finds the end line. Closing in on the halftime whistle here in Houston, Texas. Make sure to stick with us. A jam-packed halftime report. We talked earlier in this half about the MLS Next All-Star game down in Charlotte. Well, we will head back to Charlotte to recap that All-Star event. We'll also head out to the Eastern Conference and hear from Richard Dixon for Chattanooga FC. Plus highlights and upcoming schedule, all to come during our halftime report. First, though, we've got to get to that halftime and still time to go in this opening 45. As we get a whistle here, it will be a free kick for Real Monarchs and play is back underway. O'Gara. Riquelme was looking for Felix Awalt over on the far side. Couldn't find him. Spilling out of play, it will be a Dynamo Dos throw in. Waiting the official word from fourth official Jordan Gray on first half stoppage time, and we get it. 5 minutes of additional time.
Your attention, please. The fourth official on the sideline has indicated
Muhammad.
there will be a minimum of 5 minutes added into the
So
first
Muhammad
half.
trying to touch that ball in behind. Couldn't find Miller. Well defended again by Real Monarchs. Claret and Cobalt nearly hounded into a turnover. Tough work there for Antonio Riquelme. Appeals for a foul go unanswered from Jose Lara. They hand it off to Rios, tight against this near touchline. Amparo now. Fouled from behind as the Amparo will draw a whistle. Swung forward now. Ewald toppled, and we will get a whistle, and it will be more. A yellow card shown to Herrera for Houston Dynamo Dos.
Yellow card caution has been issued to Houston Dynamo Dos player number 17, De Alessandro.
That's the second Dynamo Dos player carrying a yellow right now, going into that second half. DiMorelli being the other for Houston. Meanwhile, Monarchs, who just have not had a lot going in their favor offensively, finally getting an attacking half set piece here, and it'll come by virtue of a free kick for Mark Lowry's bunch. Had some success on free kicks this season. Twice they've scored off of them. And a goal late in this half, especially down a man, down 2-0. Going into halftime would give you at least some life. This one fired from distance, parried away by Herb. A beautiful save from the 22-year-old, thrust into action for the first time. The danger not averted quite yet, and now it does spill out of play, as Moisa will watch it roll out. First shot on target he's faced in this contest. A well-taken free kick by Antonio Riquelme. And Logan Herb, the Dynamo homegrown, no issues with it. A highlight reel save for the Texan. Driven in behind, Alfin will come out. He'll collect that one before Reese Miller can get to it. Three of the 5 allotted for first half stoppage time have elapsed. Almost 4 of the 5 coming up on it now. Monarchs trying to make something happen late in this contest, and that will be a short-lived spell of possession. Back over to Logan Herb. Just made a brilliant save moments ago. Full stretch on the free kick, and he makes stops like that. You understand why he was the 2025 ACC Keeper of the Year during his time at NC State, where he spent 2 seasons after transferring in from San Diego State. Back in July, this Houston organization loaning Pedro Cruz out to USL Championship. Cruz had started the lion's share of the matches in 2026. Here's Martins trying to turn the corner. Martins lifts it back in. That'll fall all the way through and picked up by Real Monarchs. Riquelme pushed it too far in front. One back here by Dynamo Dos. One last push before the halftime whistle. Miller over to DiMorelli. 2 goal scorers linking up. Herrera tries to find Arana, took a deflection off the center referee, and with that whistle, he will just sound the whistle for halftime. We have reached the intermission in Houston. Our score at the half, 2-0. Houston Dynamo's. Coming up in our halftime show, we look back at the MLS Next All-Star Game, plus the upcoming August schedule and first half highlights, all when we return.
For an exciting match.
Dude, move away, I can't see.
Back in Houston, Texas, we're at the break. We head to Charlotte now for a closer look at the MLS Next All-Star Game and the Skills Challenge, as well as a look at Chattanooga FC's newly promoted head coach, Richard Dixon.
What's going on, guys? Moises Linares here in Charlotte, North Carolina for the big MLS All-Star Game. And as you can see behind me, anticipation's already building. But before we can even talk about the big game, how about we take a look at some of the best moments during MLS All-Star Week, including the MLS Next All-Star Game, which features some of MLS Next Pro's brightest stars.
Things in Charlotte kicked off with the MLS Next All-Star Game, where we got a glimpse of the game's future stars who faced off at Mecklenburg County Sportsplex. A 7-goal thriller that saw Team East take care of business versus Team West with a 6-1 victory. Less than 20 hours after scoring for Crew 2, Columbus Crew's Jamil Danjaji hopped on a flight to Charlotte and found the back of the net again.
Towards goal and through! Jamil Danjaji makes it 2-0 in the blink of an eye.
Nashville SC and Huntsville City forward Liam Stribling also found the back of the net for the East.
Nashville man, Stribling's got some space here. Stribling puts it through. How good is that?
And Crown Legacy's Daniel Brown would complete the scoring for Team East.
A good punch out. Fila. Oh, distance! Fizzer is through. Brown, the hometown product.
The West would pull one back, but ultimately it wasn't enough to overcome the East.
This is a celebration of all their hard work. So many of these guys not only had great individual seasons, they performed well for their team, But what we're starting to see, which is also so cool, is when we talk about pathway, is these players not only do well for their academy team, but most of them have already started to feature for Next Pro, which is that not only the next step for them in their own development, but it continues that aspiration to get to the highest level.
Obviously, it's a wonderful event. Such a privilege to be chosen for this. It takes years and years of training and experience for any player to get caught up into this. So congratulations to everybody that's got caught into this and everybody's family to experience the welcome of being able to participate in this event.
I mean, it's a learning experience. I'm just happy to be here. I'm gonna keep going, keep training, and keep my head down and be grounded.
Before the game, we also caught up with president of MLS Next Pro, Ali Curtis, who talked about the evolution of the pathway MLS has created.
We've got a great collection of players here today. You know, it's a great evening. It's a great event that we're fortunately able to be supported by our partner in Allstate, and we've got a great number of talented players here. So it's a great addition and a great player development moment.
Just crazy to see how far the league has come. And it's just a beautiful thing, right? Now we have 30 teams, so many more stadiums, new stadiums being built. The academy wasn't around in 2009. Now we have a full-blown academy, and to see the talent that we have here tonight is just spectacular. And so it just tells me that we're all moving in the right direction. We're continuing to move this game forward in this country with the World Cup. Everyone's excited. And now we just have to continue to help encourage and support these kids.
Here at Bank of America Stadium, MLS All-Stars lead Liga MX 3-1 after 45 minutes. A great performance in the first half. And speaking of great performances, some of MLS Next Pro's very best goalkeepers and field players took part in the skills challenge. That includes goalie wars and also the crossbar challenge.
I'm trying to get that assist in. Oh, he's cooking me alive. Those low ones killed me.
Hey, we got the...
Tuesday morning saw the MLS Next Pro players take on actor Danny Ramirez in goalie wars. The Hollywood star even banged this golazo.
Bonus ball! You got the ball!
Later, MLS Next Pro goalkeeper Will Mackey and defending champion Pedro Cruz kicked things off, going head-to-head.
Okay, here we go for two. Can he score? Oh, he does! Pedro Cruz with a clutch effort.
Houston Dynamo's Pedro Cruz would emerge victorious, moving on to the semifinals, where he faced Mexican national team in Pachuca's goalie Carlos Moreno.
Carlos Moreno to win it. Can he do it? Moreno! Get up! Get up! Get up! Take it! Take it! Take it! Oh! Pedro Cruz!
Scores, he wins.
Oh, that's it. That's it. He's done it. Pedro Cruz advances.
Cruz took care of business against Moreno, advancing to the final where he squared off versus World Cup goalkeeper Maxime Crepeau.
Let's go. Come on, Pedro. Let's go. Come on. Game on. Gotta stop him. And Maxime Crepeau is the winner of the All-Star Goalie Wars.
Cruz would come up just short of defending his crown, but would win the admiration of Orlando's Crepeau, who was impressed with what he saw.
It's fun. I talked to him right away. I was like, honestly, if you kept the balls a little bit lower and on the surface, you had me, because he was so powerful that you don't have the chance to get there almost at this distance.
Estoy muy contento. Lo arquero es muy bueno, una persona muy buena. Pude conocer él poquito. Él habló que hoy está yendo bien. Una persona buena y muy bueno. Dividir la cancha con él.
Goalkeepers weren't the only ones in action. The crossbar challenge saw North Texas SC Erunis face off against former MLS Next Pro star Xavier Gozo, taking on some big names like Evander and Javier Ruiz from Club Necaxa.
Representing MLS Next Pro. We see the young superstars emerge from Major League Soccer. North Texas is a great pipeline for FC Dallas.
Let's go, Nice, you're almost there.
There it is. Oh, there it is. For MLS Next Pro. What a story this could be.
Gozo would also make it to the final, but would come up just short versus Ruiz, who would go on to win the competition. An experience that has left a positive mark on both players.
It will be fun to have in your backyard, So I think it was just fun kick around and really enjoyed it.
3 days of MLS All-Star action culminated here at Bank of America Stadium with MLS All-Stars pulling a 4-3 win against Liga MX, a game that saw a handful of MLS Next Pro alumni make their All-Star debut, a major milestone for the league. Signing off from the Queen City, Moises Linares.
I had a meeting with Rich, and I let him know that he was going to be our choice moving forward. So,
thank you guys. First of all, thank you for your commitment to the club, your commitment to each other, and your commitment to just excellence, right? Because that's what we're aiming for, is excellence.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
It's something that I've been looking forward to ever since I retired. Always
conversation on him becoming the interim.
Good session. Look after yourselves. Better together.
Thanks, boys.
Exciting stuff there in Chattanooga, Tennessee. As for our contest here in Houston, we are back at SaberCat Stadium. Halftime well underway. Dynamo dos 2-0 over Real Monarchs. And a chance to look at our upcoming schedule now around MLS Next Pro. The match weeks just keep ticking by, getting closer and closer toward that start of the 2026 MLS Next Pro playoffs. But as for match week 23, it'll culminate tomorrow, August 9th. Austin FC 2 will take on Sporting Kansas City 2. Then plenty busy week with midweek fixtures coming up in the Eastern Conference as well. You got Chicago Fire. We heard from Omar Gonzalez during the halftime report down in Charlotte, North Carolina. Gonzalez, a assistant with that Chicago Fire 2 side. They'll take on Toronto FC, and then Crown Legacy hovering there toward the top of the Eastern Conference table. We'll welcome Huntsville City, 8 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff. That one is plenty busy action around MLS Next Pro these next few days. Starting to get into that point of the year, the summer, where a lot of midweeks will start popping up, extending the match weeks out. But as for our contest, as mentioned, we are at the half, and let's get you brought up to speed with our halftime highlights. And there were plenty of highlights to show you in that opening 45 minutes. Early on, off a straight red card that was handed out, D'Alessandro Herrera has a hit turned away by Trace Alfin. Then minutes later, specifically 11 minutes later, Reese Miller would not be denied. A towering header putting Dynamo Dos up 1-0. Then Matteo Di Morelli have a hit and slotting it short side in on Real Monarchs netminder Trace Alfin. That made it 2-0. But Monarchs would have their looks at goal just before that halftime whistle. A well-hit ball from Antonio Riquelme, turned away by Logan Erb. A highlight reel save. They would not score off the second ball either, despite a good additional look there at the end. And that is where we stand through 45 minutes of play. 2-0. We'll be back for the second half.
Should be a fun season of MLS Next Pro. Oh my! Pedrinho wins it!
Yeah. Boys hear sentiment. Flow tastes sweet like cinnamon. Open up doors, I'm a gentleman. View top floor, I'm still staying ahead of them.
energy of a Sunday night. Ideal for calm music, whispers, stargazing, reflection, and a relaxed environment. Sunday nights were made for this.
Almost go time for the second half here in Houston, Texas, between Dynamo Dos and Real Monarchs. Match week 23 action in MLS Next Pro. Glad to have you with us, along with our broadcast team, Jake Griffith. A 2-0 lead for the home side through 45 minutes of play, seeking their 13th victory of 2026 is Houston Dynamo Dos. There is the whistle, and we're back underway for the final 45 minutes here inside SaberCat Stadium. Two changes, both for Houston Dynamo Dos at the start of the second 45 minutes. As we get a whistle for a stoppage, Felix Awalt taken down. On will come Jamani Bell, and Aili Hata will join him as well. Monarchs, they also make a pair of changes. A double sub in as Chance Cowell will come on, as will Lincoln Ream, their second and third changes of the day.
In the field, number 57. Christopher Riggins. Coming into the field, number 44, Chance Cowell. Also in the field, number 37, Luis Rivera. Coming into the field, number 8.
Here's Riquelme on this free kick. Riquelme curls this into the crowd. Coated well defensively by Dynamo Dos. Glanced along via the header, still free in that area. Now O'Gara lifts it toward goal, headed and stopped by Logan Erb.
At the beginning of the second half, substitution for your Houston Dynamo Dos, leaving the field, number 33, Mateo Di Marelli. Coming into the field, number 11, Jamani Bell.
Houston Dynamo Dos, both players who were carrying yellows coming into this second half have been substituted off to start this second 45. For the combination top of the area, and pouncing on that one is Ruben Massalas. One back though quickly, Sosa. Muhammad turns it back over to Arana, now Jamani Bell. Late arriving run, the shot toward Alphen is stopped. Miller had his eyes on a second goal, and Monarchs netminder had other ideas. Real open-ended start to this second 45 minutes. We've seen both keepers be put into action very quickly, including Logan Erb watching on now with 2 saves, winning almost an entire opening half without making a stop, and then they're in first half stoppage time. A save on the free kick off the Riquelme shot. Here's Jamani Bell weaving in and out of traffic. Martins on the right. They'll work it back along Martins. Desperately trying to get past Felix Awalt. Now Awalt will just dump that one away. As it rolls out, it will be a throw for Dynamo Dos. And Hata. Muhammad on the turn, finds the captain Doman. Now Arana. North of 60% possession in the opening 45 minutes for this Dynamo Dos side. 8 shots, 3 on target. They did well for themselves to just keep this ball on this end for long, long spells of play. Muhammad didn't like his options, so recycle this ball over to Betancourt. Now Arana carving an opening here for Dynamo Dos. Finds Muhammad to his right, the layoff, back to Arana, stops, turns, the cutback in front, it's Jamani Bell, can't get a shot off. Martins was there to pick up the loose ball, battling with Loco Moisa, who wins a whistle, and that will end the possession for Dynamo Dos. to give some credit here to this Claret and Cobalt side of Real Monarchs. They've been under the gun essentially from the 5th minute on when they went down to 10 men. But still, they've been able to generate 3 shots, 2 on target. Yes, they don't have a goal. They've had a couple good looks at goal. 8 touches in the penalty area in that opening 45. They will get a throw in out of this. There was that quick back-to-back punch that they suffered in the 16th and the 19th minutes. And then after that, things really calmed down for this Monarch side. Their structure in front of the ball when out of possession was very strong. Wasn't a lot of room to work when getting into the attacking half if you're Houston Dynamo Dos. Now long ball over the top. Here's Awalt, will run it down. The offside flag will come up though. And that'll erase things for Real Monarchs. Back over to Matthew Arana. Picked up his 3rd goal of 2026 back in that opening half. Runs his total to 5 goal involvements on the season. He was an unused substitute last MLS match week for Houston Dynamo and manager Ben Olsen in the win on the road against Sporting Kansas City 2. Or rather, Sporting Kansas City 2-0 was that result. Only Houston Dynamo Dos player on the bench. Of course, Houston Dynamo, first team in action earlier today in MLS play on the road against New England, picking up their 3rd consecutive clean sheet. There was a post on Twitter from the Houston Dynamo communications staff in the midweek in the run-up to that contest. The last 11 matches entering that fixture, 7-2-2 were the first team. So it's not just the second team for this organization that are heating up at the right point. Slid back ahead, trying to find Artur Sosa. And we get another whistle for a stoppage. Both the first and second team here in Houston, Texas, really having incredible seasons. And a look there at the Western Conference table will show that, at least in terms of a live league table, with this match currently in progress, should this result hold, Houston Dynamo Dos picking up all 3 points, they'd move into a 2-way tie for second with Portland Timbers 2, who took 2 of 3 points today after that 0-0 draw against LAFC 2. Dynamo Dos have a big one coming up next week. They get Ventura County. At the second of their 3-match homestand, where they'll also see San Jose Earthquakes later on in August. Worked over Samir Muhammad. Back to Arana now. Good link up here between Arana, Bell, Muhammad. They go back over to Jamani Bell. Clips it out wide. Riley Hatta picked it up. They wanted to funnel it back through to him in the half space, but read well defensively by this Monarch side. Lincoln Ream coming up with the interception. Here's Jamani Bell. Turned over though. Riquelme will play it forward. Ream left back off. It's Anderson now for the Claret and Cobalt. Awalt, Moisa. Over to Izzy Amparo. Some space here to move for Amparo. Goes down from behind, off the foul committed by Alan Martins. And that will be a free kick. Quickly taken here by Real Monarchs. Wanted to try to catch Dynamo Dos off guard. This will be Antonio Riquelme. sizing up his options in front of him. The lone player for the Monarchs shadowing over this ball. Riquelme curls it into the crowd over everyone's head as it pops out of play, and it will be a goal kick to Logan Erb. There was a great profile about Antonio Riquelme just a few months ago, published by the RSL show, and one of the local journalists that covers this club for Real Salt Lake, Carson Lantz, talking about Antonio Riquelme's progression and him being a part of what has quickly turned into quite the development pipeline for this RSL organization. Grabbing some headlines earlier this week, it was reported by Tom Bogert that they were closing in on a deal to send Xavier Gozo overseas to the English Premier League and to Crystal Palace, where he could partner up with U.S. men's national teamer Chris Richards. Jimani Bell forcing the issue. That press bears fruit again for Houston Dynamo Dos. The funnel it forward. Here's Marchines now. A whistle here. Player goes down after that ball goes sailing out of play. And immediately, Jose Lara motioning for the training staff to come on. Trainers are out for Monarchs, tending to the injured Claret and Cobalt man. It's been a relatively uneventful start to this second half for both Houston Dynamo Dos and Real Monarchs. However, the Claret and Cobalt, they have had more opportunities in the attacking half than what they were able to generate in the opening 45. The possession numbers have inched up just a little bit in this match to almost 39% for Monarchs. Initial indications seem to be that is Liam O'Gara slow to get back to his feet. The captain for this Monarch side, and indeed it is, helped back up off the natural grass surface by this training staff for the visitors. I saw him when he was down in that crowd clutching that lower leg of his. Looked to be the right leg he was grabbing at. You can see him just trying to work that strain out. It is a warm day here in Houston. We've already had one hydration break in the opening half. O'Gara did hand the captain's armband off as he makes his way over to this near touchline. Could be an indication that Claret and Cobalt might be preparing to make their fourth change of the evening. And in fact, they will. Nicolas Silva will come on for his fourth appearance in MLS Next Pro Play, spelling the injured Liam O'Gara.
Your attention, please. Substitution in real time.
The aforementioned Nicolas Silva out of the RSL Academy, just 16 years old, as Alfin will put a right foot into this and get play back underway. Had a stretch earlier this year, back in February before the end of the most recent Next season. Had a 6 goals in 4 MLS Next appearances stretch. The number 45, who just checked onto the pitch. Well, one of those bright young players coming out of the highly touted Real Salt Lake Academy. A few weeks ago, I remember talking to Mark Lowry about the future of this club. That ball is knocked out of play by Aili Hata. And he said, hey, look, yeah, we had a couple guys named to the MLS Next All-Star game. Specifically, Easton Wilson, Kellen Pohl named All-Stars. Wilson had the only goal for the West in that 6-1 defeat at the hands of the Eastern Conference. He said, you give this upcoming batch of players coming out of the RSL Academy another 6 months, 12 months, they are the future of this Monarch side, as Awalt will toss this one deep into the penalty area, bat it around, and Herb will finally corral that one in. Here's Hata. Rolls it forward. Good 1-2 now. Able to spring Samir Mohammed free for a moment. Mohammed ridden down, though, by Ruben Masalas. Across the hour mark played, still no score to be had since that 19th minute when Houston Dynamo Dos doubled their advantage. It's Ruben Masalas committing the foul, and Samir Mohammed slow to get back to his feet. Masalas put in that awkward position early on in the contest of coming on just about 8 minutes in for Lino Tejero, native of Cote d'Ivoire, who started this contest, 3rd start of the season. Since then, it's been Masalas. Meanwhile, Mohammed will strike this to the back post, nodded away. Not deep enough for the clearance. Arana funnels it wide. Mohammed, second ball served out wide. Spilling around in front. Monarchs will collapse on it, and they'll clear the line successfully. You see 39 there in orange and white, Samir Mohammed. He's covered a lot of ground so far. Just took that free kick and the second service. It's been all over the pitch. Started out on the left side of that midfield 3. But they've moved him around, played him on the right-hand side at times. He's dropped deep in the build to help them advance and progress. You go back a few matches ago to their match against Austin FC, that 1-1 draw, and his hold-up play was so crucial in that contest. He dropped so deep when they were building out. As we get a whistle for a stoppage, Jemani Bell impeded. And it was something that Jeremy Hurdle talked about this week when he highlighted his play. Hurdle, former academy coach, now in his second spell with this Houston Dynamo Dos side, he said he remembered Samir Mohammed's play for the U18s, as Mohammed will slip that one through on the overlap. Now Bell back to goal. Bell turning, dancing through defenders is Jemani Bell. Still Bell, hands it off over to Doman. Funneled forward again. Bell rolls it out wide. Marchines back to Bell, top of the area, turned away from goal. They're clustering up in the midfield, and that will be a whistle for a foul against Dynamo Dos. But going back to Samir Mohammed, Jeremy Hurdle, he said that he's a key guy for us despite being in his first full year. And you look back at that U18 season he had last year, he scored or assisted on just about everything. They knew that he was going to be special, but he continues to impress this coaching staff. There is Jeremy Hurdle looking on there at the bottom of your screen as we get another extended stoppage here for a Monarchs injury. That is Loka Moisa who is down for this Monarch side, and the trainer for the second time in just about the last 10 minutes has had to trot on and tend to an injured Monarchs man. Here's a look back at it. He and Jamani Bell were both going at each other, and you see right there at the end of it, Moisa had stepped up. Appears that they knocked knees together. You even see Jamani Bell just gingerly walking away from that ball, but Moisa worse for wear after that interaction. Local Moisa, a player who in the infancy of the MLS season, he alongside Aiden Hezerkani saw some time with the RSL first team. And manager Pablo Mastroeni, I remember talking to Mark Lowry after one of Local Moisa's starts, and he said it's just been so impressive. A guy like Moisa has forced himself into that conversation. He's not just going up to the first team to be a numbers guy, provide just an additional body on the bench. He's becoming a force to be reckoned with. And he said guys like Local Moisa, who is back to his feet, hobbled, but is walking off under his own power, Aiden Hezerkani, they are sort of proof of concept of what this Real Monarchs team wants to be, wants to do. They're proof of concept for the younger players that show that, hey, there's opportunities at this club if you perform at the highest level. Lowry described it as examples of the pathway in action out on the Wasatch front. Meanwhile, Alfin will clip this one back along as play does resume. Lowry and company not making a change, so it's down to 9 right now for the Monarchs, as Moisa being tended to on the near touchline. Anderson rolls it forward, able to connect with Nicolas Silva. Turned upfield now by the Claret and Cobalt. Chance Cowell, former San Jose Earthquakes 2-man, going to run that down, provides the pressure, and it will be a throw now conceded by Dynamo Dos. And they themselves have a player down injured.
Your attention, please. Substitution in Real Monarch.
This match has quickly turned into a war of attrition.
34, Luca Moisa. Coming into the field, number 46, Isaac Moisa.
Local Moisa unable to continue on, so Real Monarchs will make their final change of the evening. Isaac Murphy, the 17-year-old, will come on. A professional debut for the Utah native. It was Reese Miller who was down for Houston Dynamo Dos. Well, after that extended stoppage, play can resume via this throw in, deep in toward this final third for Real Monarchs. Long toss into the area, deflecting around in front, across the face of goal as it rolls out of play. That's twice now in this second half that Felix Ewald has provided a long throw in toward that area that has been very dangerous. Meanwhile, Houston Dynamo Dos, they will make changes. Tristan Cottle, the Dynamo Academy man, just 16 years old, will come on. Reese Miller is back down on the grass here inside SaberCat Stadium. Quickly popped back up, but he is flanked by trainers and will walk off.
Your attention, please. Substitution Houston Dynamo at the 70th minute.
Dynamo Dos will make another change as well. Double substitution for Jeremy Hurdle's bunch as Vitor Andre, the recent acquisition on the loan, or the free transfer rather, from Palmeiras in Brazil, will make a club debut. And there's his first touch in a Houston Dynamo Dos shirt. Jeremy Hurdle joked, I asked him, I said, what does Vitor Andre provide to this team? He said, well, he gives us a center back. That's one of the most important things that they were looking for. He will come on in the stead of Reese Miller, who is unable to continue on. Nearly turned over, and Betancourt will track that one all the way back for Dynamo Dos. There's Tristan Cottle, recently just subbed on. Was handcuffed by two defenders, nearly coughed it up, and now foot stuck in by Nicolas Silva. He'll commit the foul. And Aili Hata slow to get back to his feet. Be it the heat and the amount of ground covered by both these sides, things have definitely slowed down a touch over these last 10 minutes. You can tell the amount of running both teams have done. It's taken a toll in this summer Houston heat. Doman will give it up over to Arana, who moves it forward. Steered back over to Alfin now. Jumping in front of that was Arana. It'll ricochet right back in his vicinity. Can't hold on to it, and Monarchs will be the beneficiary of a whistle. Still the most recent goal scored in this contest comes all the way back in the 19th minute. Matteo Di Morelli doubling the lead after Reese Miller scoring the opening goal. Both of those men have since substituted off the pitch for Houston Dynamo Dos. As we inch closer into that final 15 minutes of this contest, plus stoppage time to go. Whipped forward, now slid inside, trying to connect with Silva. Well defended by Dynamo Dos, as Cottle will run it down on the near touchline. Ream able to deflect that clearance away, and back to work the Claret and Cobalt go. Silva trying to round the corner initially on Cottle, then on Hata, and he will commit the foul. And this will be a red card shown. A second straight red has been handed out by Jose Lara.
Your attention, please, at the 74th minute. Red card ejection. Number 45, Real Monarchs.
Nicolas Silva and Aili Hata, they had collided into each other earlier, just about 5 minutes ago. And Jose Lara had warned Silva after that, but no yellow card had come out. Second time around, it's a straight red shown to the second half substitute. And now Monarchs will play down to 9 men for the duration of this contest. Aili Hata has not gotten back to his feet. A crowd of bodies hovering in front of him. Logan Erb out from his net for Houston. A number of other Dynamo Dos players converging around him. Monarchs men pleading their case. Mark Lowry, he is not a happy man there at the bottom of your screen. And now Jose Lara will make the slow walk over to the Monarchs technical area and show their manager a yellow card. Well, first it was Dylan Kropp, the 22-year-old super draft pick in 2026, who was sent off on a straight red 5 minutes in. Almost 70 full minutes later, the visitors from the Beehive State have been handed a second red card. This time, Nicolas Silva. Monarchs will come up with it off the interception. They will try to move it forward and progress it. They do get a whistle, which will end play. Foul will go against Houston Dynamo Dos. And now some words exchanged over on that far touchline. Jose Lara rushing over and trying to regain control of that situation. It's been a physical game. It's not often, though, you see two straight reds in the same contest handed to the same team. Here's Martins. He'll pick that loose ball up. Progressing nicely forward are Dynamo Dos. Bell waiting for the whistle, and he will get it. Impeded on his progress forward, and it will be a free kick here for Houston Dynamo Dos. Giovanni Bell quickly puts it back into play and receives it back from Matthew Arana. And now Jose Lara will run over to the fourth official in Jordan Gray. And this could be a second card coming here, and it will be another yellow shown to the Monarchs technical area. So first it was Mark Lowry getting shown a yellow. That card shown to one of the Monarchs' assistant coaches. And now play is back underway. Here's Hata now. The way this match started, goals 3 minutes apart in the 16th and 19th minutes, you would have thought we were in for a lot of offensive fireworks. Instead, the fireworks have come in terms of the cards. 2 yellows in the span of 5 minutes shown to the Monarchs bench. 2 red cards, straight reds at that. A couple of yellows handed out to Houston Dynamo in the first half as well. Here's Bell. Rolls it forward. Martins gives it back to Bell. Doman steps past one. Giovanni Bell now. To Doman again. Back to goal. Now Doman clattered into. This will be another yellow. And there is a Monarchs player injured in the melee of all of that.
Your attention, please.
The yellow given to Gustavo Doman for Houston Dynamo Dos.
Houston Dynamo Dos
Was Antonio Riquelme slow to get back to his feet, and now does exactly that as he will walk off. Ball lifted forward by Alphen, and play is back underway off the stoppage for the card. Isaac Murray navigating through traffic to Riquelme now. Ream feeds it back to Riquelme. Bodies coalescing. Mark Lowry wanting a whistle. It's delayed, but it does come in. And Real Monarchs will have a free kick here. It'll be Antonio Riquelme, who really has been the set-piece specialist in this contest. He's handled all of their free kicks, including that one in first-half stoppage time that drew such a fine save from Logan Erb. Riquelme floats it in, nodded away by Dynamo Dos. We're back down now. Here's Masalis. Masalis cutting to his right. Shot goes caroming wide. And out of play it spills. Monarchs have done well for themselves to keep this scoreline somewhat within reach, but now down to 9 minutes. It's going to be hard to try to eke out a result. Stepping inside was Martins, rolls it across over to Souza. Now clipped back in. Artur Souza knocked off the ball. Lifted in the vicinity of Owen Anderson, but headed back along by Doman. Anderson twisting and turning, trying to get free of Alon Martins. Out of play it rolls, and it will be a throw for Real Monarchs. Arana jumping on the loose ball. There's Cottle. Trying to roll it forward now, and does. Silva. Still Vinicius Silva splitting two. It's Silva toward goal. It's tapped in! Fancy footwork from Vinicius Silva, and Jamani Bell pouncing on that ball to tap it across. 3-0. That's just exquisite in a tight space from the 20-year-old Vinicius Silva, shaking free of multiple Monarchs defenders across the face of goal. And the recipient of that great footwork is Jamani Bell, slotting it in for his 5th goal of 2026. It's all gone Houston's way at home, and they are well on their way to extending their unbeaten stretch to 10 consecutive matches at home, going all the way back to the 2025 season. They've been hard to beat in this venue. This year alone, averaging just about 2.8 goals per match in their home matches. And they're right at that metric tonight. An extra one for good measure, courtesy of Jamani Bell in the 83rd minute. And now Bell trying to run this ball down. Instead, will be shown a whistle. Off the restart, trying to race that one down. Keeper comes out in Logan Erb, and that's a well-timed slide to ground from the 22-year-old. Able to knock it clear of Owen Anderson, who was crashing in on him. Here's Arana, will play it into the path of Doman. To Cottle now. Hata, the product of Seattle University, NCAA Division I side. Connecting with Bell. Now inside, here's Marchines. Marchines floats it out wide. That is where Vinicius Silva will pick it up. Silva battling there with Chance Cowell. Vitor Andre will advance that ball. Up ahead, it's Jamani Bell from distance. Stopped by Trace Alfin. Jamani Bell's been one of those players that when he comes on, this is his 15th appearance. He started 10 matches this year. He has been such a force to be reckoned with on the pitch for Houston Dynamo Dos. I remember covering this side all the way back early in May when they went on the road and just shellacked St. Louis City 4-1 at Energizer Park. And Jamani Bell scored a goal in that contest, had an assist as well, as Marchines will cut it back over to the aforementioned Bell. He's just a lightning bolt of energy for this Dynamo Dos side. And after being rostered but not playing last year, as Dynamo Dos will commit the foul, he's really come on in a big way in 2026. Former Dynamo Academy man signed a next pro deal in October of 2025. And now Houston Dynamo Dos will make another change. Miles Gardner will come on. Vinicius Silva, after grabbing an assist minutes ago, he will walk off. A hard shift turned in for number 12 in orange and white this evening. And Miles Gardner, with his 8 career international caps for the US U17s, will waltz on for his 13th appearance of 2026. Speaking of the U.S. Youth National Team, big result yesterday for the U.S. U19s at the CONCACAF U20 Championships down in Mexico. They will take on the host nation as Felix Awalt will have a long throw in. Met by the head of Dynamo Dos. Awalt, second ball served into the mixer. Ball's back in the path of Jamani Bell, but the U.S. U19s, they will play for the CONCACAF U20 Championships against the host nation. Aiden Hezerkani was called to the U.S. national team. Did not play, though, as this one from distance goes skipping past the outstretched hands of Trace Alfin. Got a piece of it on its way through, so it'll stay here for the corner to Dynamo Dos. Cottle wasting no time. Getting a bit of an assist there from his manager, and Jeremy Hurdle. Able to find Jamani Bell on the short route in. Now Bell comes up with the takeaway high up the pitch. That's an area that I asked Jeremy Hurdle earlier in the week. What's one area you want to see your team grow the most in? If you do this, you will be a top 3, top 2 team going into the playoffs. So we get a whistle for a foul. Bell taken down. And he said undoubtedly they could stand to tweak some things in terms of their defensive shape high up the pitch. But he feels like they could be a little bit tighter in that regard. And if they tighten that up, he feels like that could be a real catalyst for this team to ascend even higher up the table going into the 2026 MLS Next Pro playoffs. Here's Arana. Slides it forward. Martins now. Good ball diagonally out wide. Able to find Cottle. It's knocked away from him. I mentioned earlier the U.S. U19s advancing to the CONCACAF U20 Championship final. One of those guys that was called into action out of the Western Conference was Ruben Ramos Jr., product of Ventura County, who Houston Dynamo Dos will see in their next fixture coming up next weekend. That one will be here at SaberCat Stadium. Late whistle, foul shown to Real Monarchs. Ruben Ramos Jr. picking up a goal in that semifinal win. Officially 8 minutes of stoppage time, according to fourth official Jordan Gray.
8 minutes.
Gardner finding Artur Souza, who peels it back. Vitor Andre. Hata. Here's Arana to Bell. Looking for the combination centrally between those two. There was a man toppled behind for Real Monarchs, and that will draw a whistle from our center referee. Glancing header along from Ewald into the path of Riquelme, who couldn't corral that ball in. And now boomed forward by Houston Dynamo Dos. Arana running free, has options around. Tristan Cottle now. Pulls this one back, now heads to the end line. Defender going to ground. Cottle goes down with him, and that ball will spill out of play for a Dynamo Dos corner. Still 6 minutes of stoppage time to go, separating Houston Dynamo from their 13th victory of 2026. With 3 more goals today, they run their goal differential at home to 25-3. Is what they're outscoring their opposition at SaberCat Stadium. Bell in swinging ball, knotted down. Falls right back to Cottle, tries a hit from distance. It's blocked. They funnel it back over. Here is Jamani Bell. Trying to navigate away from Lincoln Ream. And we do get another whistle. It's Minnesota United on the upcoming docket for Real Monarchs. That will be a home fixture for this Monarchs team, who finally gets a chance to return home. Looks increasingly likely that this will swing in the favor of this Houston Dynamo Dos side. Coming up on the final 5 minutes of stoppage time, it will move this Monarch side to winless in 7 away from home. Here's Martins. Cuts it back, Doman, interchange, looking back for Doman inside, who does commit the foul. Minnesota United right now finds themselves locked in a furious battle with San Jose Earthquakes. 1-1 in the 66th minute. Meanwhile, other action has begun in the Western Conference. North Texas SC, Tacoma Defiance, 41st minute, no score. Colorado Rapids, St. Louis City 2, 30 minutes in. No score in that contest. Headed down, here's Riquelme. Riquelme rolls it through. Here's Felix Ewald, bumped off the ball. Across the end line it goes, and Monarchs have themselves a late corner on the road. Mark Lowry's Monarchs, one of the most dangerous corner teams in MLS Next Pro, with their 7 corner goals. Trying to find the breakthrough. Riquelme boots this in the mixer. headed down. Lincoln Ream, rather, will track that one down. Ream tries to serve the second ball and deflected out of play by Jamani Bell, and it's consecutive corners now for the visitors. Riquelme back to the well. Hits this to the back post. They try to head that one down, and instead it rolls out of play. And there it is.
That's the end of tonight's match.
We get the whistle for full time.
Your hero's turn. Dynamo does 3.
The reigning team of the month in MLS Next Pro starts their August slate off on the front foot. A 3-0 win over Real Monarchs at home. It is now unbeaten in 10 consecutive home matches for this Dynamo Dos side, and they couldn't have done it without the efforts of tonight's man of the match. Presented by Adidas, it is none other than Matteo Di Morelli for his world-class finish from distance. It doubled the lead for Dynamo Dos 3 minutes after they went up a goal. Matteo Di Morelli is your man of the match, presented by Adidas. And it comes in a winning effort for Dynamo Dos at home, overwhelming Real Monarchs here in the Lone Star State. It's win number 13 on the campaign for Jeremy Hurdle and Houston, moving into a tie for second in the Western Conference table with Portland Timbers 2. For our entire MLS Next Pro broadcast crew, I'm Jake Griffith. Once again, our final, Houston Dynamo 3, Real Monarchs 0. Don't forget you can watch MLS Next Pro all season long at MLSNextPro.com and OneFootball. Good night.
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.